So what's going on, lads and lasses? Welcome back to 100% Mags. We are live on YouTube, and of course Newcastle United have released our NUFC retained list for the 25-26 season. We're going to be going through the men's retain list, and we will also be going through the other retain lists as well for the women's team and also the academy team as well. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Get involved in the chat, of course, as well if you're watching this live. If you're watching it on replay, then, like I say, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. But we'll go into this one, and we're going to be having a good look at what is going on. Just make sure that we are actually live and that people can actually see this stream. Yep, we are actually live. So let's go ahead with the video. So the Newcastle United retain list came out for the men's team. Let's talk about it. Let's give me thoughts on it as well. So Newcastle United announced its retain list for the 25-26 season. Callum Wilson and John Ruddy are set to be out of contract at the end of June. But however, the club have opened discussions, of course, with both players about their futures, and new contracts could still be agreed, according to what Newcastle's saying on the website, for, of course, the retained list. And departures from the retained list, of course, are none other than the likes of Jamal Lewis. We are seeing depart Newcastle United. Of course, he came in and he hasn't really hit the ground running. Newcastle United, unfortunately for the lad, he came in a period when, Newcastle had a very bad manager in Bacon Tits here. And, of course, it didn't work out well for Jamal Lewis, so he ended up going out on loan. And unfortunately for the lad, it just hasn't really worked out for him, to be honest. And he's now moved on. He will move on once his contract expires this summer. So he will not be with Newcastle United anymore. He will be a free agent moving forward. I'm just really disappointed for the lad, to be honest. Looking at him when he came in, he joined from Norwich in the summer of 2020. He made 36 competitive appearances for at that time, including 26 in the first team. In his first season for the club, the Northern Ireland International, spent the 23-24 season as well on loan at Watford before making 6 appearances on loan at Brazilian Serie A side, of course, Sao Paulo last season, and then of course that being cut short because of injury problems that he ended up picking up. But other players that we are seeing mentioned is Kelly, obviously, because he will depart to go to Juve because that loan move was turned into a permanent move. So that means he will now go to Juventus, of course, on an undisclosed fee on the 30th of June. And all other first team players on the retained list with an option activated to retain Mark Gillespie following recent contract extensions for Fabian Shaw, Emil Kraft and Dan Burn as well. So we're seeing Gillespie being retained for the 25-26 season. We're seeing, of course, Shaw, Kraft and Dan Burn being retained. And it looks like possibly, if they accept the deals, Callum Wilson and Jordan Ruddy also returning. Now, a lot of people are kicking up a stink saying why we're retaining or why we even offering a contract to Callum Wilson and John Ruddy. Well, John Ruddy can work with the youth team. I've talked about this already on the channel. I've already said, that we can see somebody like John Ruddy, staying at the club. Maybe he's working alongside the coaches at the team. He's a veteran. He's been around the game a lot. He's got a lot of experience and a lot of wealth of experience that he can, give over to the younger lads coming through the team and help the younger lads in the academy as well. So that's one reason why I think, we would be looking at retaining somebody like John Ruddy. Callum Wilson, on the other hand, again, Callum Wilson, as I talked about in previous videos, would be the backup to Isak. If Callum Wilson can stay fit, he's a really good player. Yes, he's getting up there in age now, so he is lacking that speed that he once had because of them ACL injuries that he's picked up. But at the end of the day, he's still a really good option to have as a backup if he can stay fit. But it's all remains to be seen if he wants to go on with the deal that Newcastle's offering, which is a pay-as-you-play deal for Callum Wilson. I don't know if that's the same deal that we'll be offering for John Ruddy. I would assume so. But at the end of the day, them two lads, I could definitely see agreeing to staying on at Newcastle United for a little bit longer, maybe an extra season at least, and then going from there. But to be honest, not that many crazy players being kept on the retain list for the men's side of the team. Looking at the retain list for the women's side of the team now, and we'll talk a little bit about that. Newcastle, of course, have released 12 players from the women's side of the team. Looking at the women's side, we will be seeing departures of some very long-term serving women's players for the women's team, and the trio of long-serving players of Katie Barker, Georgina Gibson, and Olivia Watt will be, of course, departing the club, who made a combined 296 appearances for Newcastle United. Barker and Gibson both joined the club back in the summer of 2020 from Sunderland and played key roles in Newcastle United's back-to-back promotions from the FA Women's National League Division 1 North and the, of course, Northern Premier Division to get into what is now being known as the WSL 2, which was, of course, last season just gone there, called the Women's Championship. But lifelong Magpie, of course, Barker, second in the all-time appearances list on 120 appearances as well, and is a record goal scorer for the club, netting 67 goals in all competitions. Gibson closely follows the forward of Gibson on both lists, making 102 appearances and scoring 59 goals across her time with Newcastle. And, of course, defender Olivia Watt made 74 appearances across her 4-year spell, having joined from Middlesbrough and won the Fans Player of the Year at the end of the 23-24 season, after being a virtual ever-present as Becky Langley's side achieved promotion to the Barclays Women's Championship. Also departing will be, of course, captain Amber Keegan-Stubbs, after the club opted to not take up an option in her contract. Of course, going forward, Stubbs has been exemplary leader for her, of course, childhood club since joining the summer of 2023. She captained the side to promotion back in the 23-24 season as Magpies made it to the Women's Championship for the first time. She made 54 appearances, scoring 2 goals in her time with Newcastle United women. But it is not just her work on the pitch that made an impact. She became the first woman to take on the role of player ambassador for Newcastle United Foundation and become a role model in the city, both on and off the pitch. So she goes with our respect and honour of Newcastle United for the stuff that she has done for her region, but not only our region, for, of course, the Newcastle United women as well, and propelling them up that leader board, up that chart to get to the level what we want to see them at. We want to see them in the WSL, and obviously they didn't get there this season, but this season coming, it's going to be big time for the lasses. There's going to be a lot of spending in the window to make them into the team that will be able to get to that WSL and hopefully they will get promoted to the WSL at the end of this coming season when it, of course, kicks off again. As previously announced as well, record appearance maker Grace Donnelly will also depart the club, as well as Hannah Greenwood, Rachel Furness, who's retired from football now at international level and club level, so she goes with our wishes as well, and well done on a fantastic career, Rachel. Done really, really brilliant. Obviously, I haven't been a viewer of the women's game for very, very long, but what I have seen of the women's game, Rachel Furness has done some really good stuff for the lasses when I have been watching them games, and Amy Andrews as well, another one that will be departing the club, along with Sophie Hayward, Daisy Burt, Rebecca Ferguson and Jodie Bartley as well will also depart from the club. Greenwood joined in the summer of 2023 from Durham, went on to make 48 appearances for the Magpies, scoring 5 goals. She was also part of the side that earned promotion to the Women's Championship in the 23-24 season, winning Manager's Player of the Season as well. Furness, a lifelong Magpie, returned to the club last summer, going on to make 18 appearances, scoring 2 goals. Andrews made the move to Newcastle United Women from Durham in the summer of 2024 as well. She made 22 appearances for the club, scoring 4 times, as well as winning the Seller Player of the Month in February. In forward, Hayward made 11 appearances after arriving from Sheffield United last summer. She spent the second half of the season on loan at Nottingham Forest, and Burt made a total of 37 appearances, spending spells on loan with Middlesbrough and Derby County in recent campaigns. And Rebecca Ferguson made 47 appearances, scoring 21 goals since the start of the 21-22 season, and spent last season on loan at Borough. And of course, Jodie Bartlett made 7 appearances during her time with the club. Newcastle United women manager Becky Langley said, "I would like to start by saying a huge thank you to all of the players that are leaving the club this summer. They have all contributed to this fantastic journey that we are on, and it would not have been possible without them." Of course, Georgina, Katie and Liv's impact over the years has had a huge influence on our progress as a team, and that they each created memories and moments that will forever be remembered by the club and the supporters. All 3 players have made a huge impression on me personally and professionally. Amber has been passionate, dedicated, loyal and committed captain. She led the team to new heights, and now so proud of sharing this journey with her. I wish all the players the very best for the next season in their careers. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything. So that's what Becky Langley had to say on the departure of them lasses from the team. We do wish them all the very best in their future endeavours. And of course, to Rachel Furness, I hope she has a very happy retirement, and hopefully we will see her one day rock back up at Kingston Park or wherever the lasses are playing, of course, by that point, because they might have moved away from Kingston Park by the time we might see Rachel Furness back in the area to watch the lasses play. Let's move on now to talk about the academy retained list. In Newcastle United's academy will bid farewell to 6 players this summer when their contracts come to the end. And then players are as follows. We will see Jay Turner-Cook leaving Newcastle United, as well as Ellis Stanton, who both featured in friendlies for the first team and are among those set for release. Jay Turner-Cook joined Newcastle, of course, from Sunderland in January of 2021. He made his first senior appearance for the Magpies against Al Hilal in December of 2022, before scoring during a 3-2 pre-season victory against Gateshead the following summer, netting the winning strike at the Gateshead International Stadium. Midfielder Stanton, of course, meanwhile broke into the Magpies under-21 squad during the latter stages of the 21-22 campaign, before appearing against A-League All-Stars in the May of 2024. Also departed under-21 level are James Huntley, Josh Donaldson and Harry and Rory Powell, who will also be departing the club as well. Huntley was named on the bench of a senior matchday squad for the first time during Newcastle's UEFA Champions League trip to Paris Saint-Germain, of course, in November of 2023. And Donaldson also joined the club in 2019, scored on his under-21s debut during a Premier League Cup clash against Huddersfield Town at the John Smith Stadium before netting twice in the 17 appearances in the 24-25 season, of course, for the under-21 lads. Rory Powell, who, like twin brother Harry, joined Newcastle's youth setup after playing for Red House Farm and Gateshead FC Juniors. Scored in Newcastle's 7-2 victory against Leyton Orient in the FA Youth Cup and round clash in December of 2023, before going on to make his under-21 bout against Sunderland in March of 2024. Academy director, of course, Steve Harper, ex-Newcastle United goalkeeper, said, "I want to extend my gratitude to all the players who are moving on from the academy. Their commitment and growth, both as players and individuals, reflect the dedication they have shown throughout their time representing Newcastle United. They have been a credit to themselves, their families, and to the club, and they should be immensely proud of everything they've achieved. Our support doesn't stop here. The academy remains a resource for them as they take their next steps in their career, and I look forward to seeing where their journeys take them. On behalf of everyone here, we wish them very best for the success in their future." So that's all of the retained lists there, lads and lasses. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. I mean, just looking back at the men's team alone, like I said earlier in the video, there's a lot of people kicking up stink about Callum Wilson and John Ruddy being mentioned of staying at the club. But I've given me reasons on that. If you want to go check that back out, then, rewatch the video back through again and you'll hear me thoughts on what I think about that whole situation. But, I mean, we can't get rid of absolutely everybody out of the team. We're going to have to obviously keep some veterans in there. We're going to have to keep some people that have got, the brain set to, go out there and guide players through, if you can understand me meaning. We need to have the leaders in the back room, and we can't be just getting rid of absolutely everybody and bringing in fresh players, because that's just not a good approach. It's not a way to go forward as well. And there's transfer talk going around, but again, nothing concrete yet on day 6 of the transfer window. I did a video yesterday on day 5, talking about my thoughts on some transfer news as well. So do go check that one out on the channel as well when you, of course, get time to do so. But plenty of talk about James Trafford. Maybe he's coming to Newcastle United. I think there will be something in that. But it's only time will tell, what actually comes of it, to be honest. And you've heard me thoughts on James Trafford many, many times already in the last few days. He is a player that I would like to see join Newcastle United. He would benefit, hugely by coming to Newcastle himself as well, and he would be able to help us out as well going forward, because he's a fantastic goalkeeper. And then there's fresh links today with Rodrigo Muniz of, I believe it is Fulham, Rodrigo Muniz, and him being linked to Newcastle United as well, which I think would be a really good player. He's got the same sort of attributes as what Big Joe's got, to be honest. And if we could get another player in that similar mould to Joe Linton to come into the team, then we should definitely be looking at doing that, to be honest. But anyway, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. I want to wrap up the video here, lads and lasses. I hope you all have a great time. I hope you enjoyed the video as well. And make sure on your way out to hit that like and the share button. And if you haven't done it already, hit that subscribe button. I'm only about 160, I think it is, away from hitting the 2.5k milestone. So if we can get there, that would be absolutely brilliant.